This was released last week before we got all the rain that we just got, which was wonderful to get. Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino joining us now. Did that rain, I know what the answer is probably going to be, but did it help us at all in the grand scheme of things?
What do you think?
I'm going to say no.
It does help us.
Okay, well, I'm happily wrong.
Yeah, no, exactly. But you were sort of on the right track, because the thing to remember about drought is you don't get into a drought over a weekend.
Right.
We're not going to get out of a drought over one rainy weekend. It is a long-term condition, usually defined by a multi-year lack of precipitation, which is what we are dealing with. But let's start with what we got this weekend, and certainly this was good news. A lot of rain. Elkhorn Mountain, that's up in Clark County, 6.64 inches of rain. Portland, this was our wettest weekend of the year. Second place was January 2nd and 3rd, which is no surprise. That's usually one of our wettest times of the year, right around New Year's. But this weekend was way wetter than that. So it was our wettest weekend of the year. Probably, I'll have to check this, probably our wettest 2-day period of the year. Second maybe to that mid-January rainstorm that we had that was rather epic. Look at Vancouver, 3.2 inches of rain. Astoria over 2.5 inches of rain. Cougar, Washington, 3.75 inches of rain. Down in Lane County, the Lane County Cascades east of Eugene, 4.5 inches of rain. So this is exactly what we need to help us begin to get out of drought. But let's look at some longer term numbers. We'll go back to October 1st. So this is nearly a year, and in fact we call this the water year. If you look at our rainfall total from October 1 of a given year to September 30th of the following year, we call that the water year. And the reason we look at that time period as opposed to the calendar year, we look at that too, but this is actually a better indication of how we've done, because it incorporates and encompasses one complete storm season. If you use the calendar year, you're catching the last half of one storm season and then the beginning of the next storm season, so it's not as good of a metric. So we're looking at this, and this is timely anyway since we're in late September now. Portland running a deficit since October 1st of last year of over 7 inches of rain. Same story all around the state. Pendleton, 3.5 inch deficit. Of course, the averages for Pendleton, Redmond, and Klamath Falls are way less than they are here in Portland. But look, everybody's running a deficit. In Northern California, Mount Shasta, nearly an 18-inch deficit. So this is an indication of what we're dealing with here, and this is after the rain that we got this weekend. So again, the point being, drought is a long-term conditions. Here's the drought monitor map once again. You can see the dark red here, exceptional drought. Did it make a dent? Yes, it made a dent, but that's all it did. I mean, that's all you can hope for over a weekend, is to make a dent. This is going to take weeks, if not months, seasons, to get out of the drought. Now, going forward, you see, we don't really have much rain coming the next week, so we can blow past that. But look at the Cascades. The rainfall helped with something else, too. No smoke. So all of the fires in the Northwest and Northern California got a good dose of rain. That is certainly good news. Looking ahead into October, this is from NOAA and this Climate Prediction Center. Notice above average precipitation forecast here in the Northwest for the month of October. That's good. That'll make a bigger dent if we can actually do that. And then seasonally, we're going into another La Nina winter. That is also good news typically for the Northwest. Now, every La Nina is different, but what this is cooler than average ocean temperatures down here in the eastern Pacific near the equator. And what that usually means is a wet, cool Northwest winter with lots of mountain snow, especially from central Oregon northward. Southern Oregon and California, they don't always do so well during a La Nina, so I am concerned about that, Dan. But this was a great start this weekend. It made a dent, and it got us off in the right direction.
I'll take the dent. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.